Our story begins in ancient Egypt, 69 BC, a time of power, intrigue, and betrayal. In the heart of Alexandria, the last queen of the Ptolemaic dynasty is born, Cleopatra VII, a name that would echo through history for centuries to come. Cleopatra was born into a world where power was everything, and her fate was sealed from the moment of her birth. Her father, Ptolemy XII, ruled Egypt, but his kingdom was plagued by political turmoil. Little did Cleopatra know, she was destined to rule not only Egypt but to become one of history's most famous and fascinating women. At the age of 18, Cleopatra's world was thrown into chaos. After the death of her father, she was thrust onto the throne of Egypt alongside her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII. But ruling with a child king was no easy task. Political tensions surged as Cleopatra struggled to hold on to power in the court of Alexandria. Cleopatra, already known for her intelligence and diplomatic acumen, was not going to let a child king or the manipulative courtiers dictate her reign. But just 3 years after taking the throne, she faced her first great challenge: betrayal. Her brother, Ptolemy XIII, with the help of his advisors, forced her into exile. But Cleopatra was no ordinary ruler. She was a woman of unparalleled wit and ambition. With her kingdom on the brink of collapse, she set out on a daring mission to reclaim what was rightfully hers, and she found her ally in one of Rome's most powerful men, Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, Cleopatra embarked on a bold and dangerous plan. She had herself smuggled into Julius Caesar's camp, wrapped in a carpet. When the carpet was unrolled, she stood before him, not just as a queen, but as a woman ready to take back her throne. The mighty Roman general, impressed by her wit, agreed to help her. Cleopatra was no ordinary queen. She was a strategist, a master of diplomacy, and yes, a lover. Her affair with Caesar was both personal and political, cementing her position as queen once again. Together, they defeated her brother, who tragically drowned in the Nile, securing Cleopatra's rule as the sole ruler of Egypt. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra secured her power, and soon the birth of her son, Caesarion, in 47 BC, further cemented her ties to the powerful Roman general. Caesarion's birth was a defining moment for Cleopatra, for her son was not only her heir, but also the potential heir to Julius Caesar's legacy. But Cleopatra's story was far from over. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, Cleopatra turned her sights to another Roman general, Mark Antony. Their relationship was as powerful as it was passionate, a union that would shake the foundations of both Egypt and Rome. In 34 BC, Cleopatra and Antony celebrated their joint victory in Alexandria with a lavish ceremony known as the Donations of Alexandria. The world watched as they declared their own new empire, with Cleopatra ruling over Egypt and much of the eastern Mediterranean. By 40 BC, Cleopatra had 2 more children with Antony, twins, Alexander Helios, named after the sun god, and Cleopatra Selene, named after herself. The children were born in the lavish palace of Alexandria, their births marking the growing power of the Egyptian and Roman alliance. Cleopatra's family was her pride and joy. Alexander Helios, though largely forgotten by history, was seen as a symbol of the East and a potential rival to the future emperors of Rome. Cleopatra Selene, however, would go on to have a fascinating future of her own, becoming Queen of Mauritania. Cleopatra, with her great ambition and intelligence, had built her dynasty. But as with all great empires, fate is unpredictable. The rise of another powerful Roman leader, Octavian, would threaten everything Cleopatra and Antony had worked for. In 31 BC, the forces of Octavian, the future Augustus, first emperor of Rome, defeated Cleopatra and Antony in the Battle of Actium. With their defeat, Cleopatra's reign crumbled. The world's greatest queen was now facing the unthinkable. With the end in sight, Cleopatra knew she could not bear the shame of being paraded through Rome as a captive. Desperation led her to a final, dramatic choice. The legend says that she used a poisonous snake hidden in a basket of figs to end her life in 30 BC. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, and the beginning of Egypt's transformation into a province of the Roman Empire. But Cleopatra's legacy did not fade with her passing. Her intelligence, her beauty, and her political acumen would inspire generations to come. Her story would live on in the pages of history, her name forever etched as one of the most legendary women who ever lived. Cleopatra, queen, lover, and legend, a woman who shaped the world around her with her power, her beauty, and her will. This was the story of Cleopatra, one of the greatest rulers in history.